You gonna do a thumbnail?
It didn't do a thumbnail.
Oh,
Update to YouTube.
that's crazy.
Yeah, we're not cool enough for thumbnails anymore. The sideburns are getting rowdy.
Yeah, I gotta move this.
Hunter Seeker, shalom, brother.
Box it. Yeah, Mom.
Hunter Seeker, the king of the buckets.
Oh, I got my notification.
You got your notification?
Mhm.
That's good.
You're live.
Madame Scorpio, Trash Panda, Terry D. What's up, everybody? Oki's boss. If you're new here, and there's many that are, this is a prepper Q&A. There's two ways. The best way for me to know that I saw your comment, because what's going to happen is a bunch of people are going to get on here, and the comments are going to, watch my hand, look at the screen. The comments are going to go by this fast. And then people are going to go, Bear, how come you didn't read my comment? Because, homie, look at the screen. They go by this fast. So the best way for me to know that you made a comment, that you asked a question that you want me to answer, is super chat. The next best way is to put your question in all caps. However, if you spam the same question a bazillion times, the blue wrenches will schwack you into PP. So preps for
trying to curate questions as I can.
Right, and we have the peacekeeper of the stalwartness over here,
Somewhere.
right
There
there,
it is.
on the other side of the box of Man of Wars. Literally, look, there's a dumpster fire right over your shoulder. That's not an implication. We're not implying anything. But peacekeeper will be trying to curate questions as well. And if you're new here, we try and do these on Thursdays where we just hang out and do some Q&A. Good evening, Justin Mercer, Storm Chaser. Shalom, brother. Got another Cub kit delivered, very fast shipping. Well, thank you very much. What's up, Brad?
Shalom, Charles.
So,
Like
you
when
asked the
people call me
questions.
out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like it too. Andrew, what's up, brother? Best solar for my fridge to keep insulin chill. Montana Mike, man. So there's not like a good answer to this. It really depends. There's two things that use the most amount of energy in a home, typically speaking. What's up, Donnie O'Keefe? Thank you. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure they will forward it to me. I'm sure they will forward it to me. So I know, says Montana Mike. I'm glad you know. I'm going to answer your question since you asked it. There's two things that use the most amount of energy in your home, and that is refrigeration and HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. And so you need to determine how much you want to carry for that. That being said, solar is becoming fairly commoditized. So let's say you've got a small fridge or even a 12-volt DC fridge, a couple of 100-watt panels or one 250-watt panel, little charge controller, and a battery or two, and you're good to go. If you want to run your whole house that your fridge is plugged into,
that's a whole nother
That's
thing.
a whole nother thing, and there are people who literally that's their whole job. That's what they do.
Yeah, they even make those little solar generators now too.
A solar
Like a whole
generator,
kit.
yeah, a solar generator is a box with a charge controller and a battery in it that has an input for solar and an output for either 120 AC or 12-volt DC. There is Harbor Freight solar garbage. I wouldn't say it's garbage. It's probably not the best, but I actually know several people who've done quite well with the Harbor Freight solar. What you don't get is the longevity. You're going to be part swapping in a year or two, maybe 3, as compared to some of the other stuff. But if you got to have something right now, then it'll get done for you. Whole lot of cheddar for an entire house solar. That's exactly right, Brad. That's exactly right. Heavy equipment parts, especially undercarriage parts, getting extremely expensive and lots not available. That's correct, Charlie Sierra. Hashtag supply chain issues.
James Strong asks, do you recommend body armor, and if so, what brand?
Do you recommend body armor, and if so, what brand?
If you have food,
you
better have food first before you have body armor.
Well, you bring up a very good point. By the way, for those who are like, who that lady? That lady, my wife. Homie biscuits. So if you have made forward progress on things like your food storage, your water storage, things like that, and it's time for body armor, and there is a time for body armor and there is not. If it's time for body armor, there's really two categories. The really good, lightweight, expensive stuff, and the still pretty good, but much heavier and more affordable stuff. For the really good, very expensive, lightweight stuff, there's this company here called Shot Stop, right there. Shot Stop. Their plates are really, really, really good. They're also very expensive. Their plates are really, really, really good. So you're talking about their, HDPE, high density polyethylene plates, ceramic composite plates, and they're very lightweight. They're about a quarter the weight of what you would normally be carrying if you have a steel plate. They're also 2 to 3 times the cost of a steel plate. But in New Mexico, we shot their level 4 plate with a 375 SHTF at like point blank, 50 feet, and it stopped at 375 grain bullet going 3,050 foot per second. It stopped it. I wouldn't want to be the guy wearing the armor, but it stopped it. And so that was very impressive. If you're not in the market for, spending $800 to $1,500 for a pair of plates, then, thank you, Jason. Yeah, we're going to talk about Wranglerstar here in a minute. It's been a really overwhelming day for me spiritually, and we're going to talk about that in a good way. Otherwise, I'd say go to adventurefrontier.com. Adventurefrontier.com. Get some Spartan armor. I like level 4 armor. And you need to determine what your specific threat level is. Level 3 plus will stop 50 or 62 grain light armor piercing 5.56 rounds, the green tips. But won't stop stuff like 308 AP, 30-06 AP, 300 Win Mag. So I like level 4 for that. Level 4 costs more and it weighs more. Now, when do I need body armor? When you think people might be shooting at you. Do I need body armor all the time? No, not all the time. Not yet in the world that we live in currently. I just shot a video about this, so stay tuned, where I go much further into depth with this about the philosophy discussion.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said, nice to see your daughter hanging out tonight. Just arrived.
Robbing the
Thanks.
cradle. Yeah.
It's my birthday soon, so that makes me feel really good.
This is my wife, and you're actually older than I am.
Yeah.
So.
Not very much.
Good job. Hot stuff.
Yeah.
Wranglerstar.
Can I play on your computer?
If 9 helps you, yes.
Wranglerstar. Bless that brother. I've got a really encouraging email from him earlier today. Thank you, Danny Jackson. And I was excited to see that he did the video that he did on the wound care buckets. And again, he was very clear in his video. We have no official affiliation with him at all. We've just sent him some kits and asked him for his honest feedback. And what you got in that video, the videos that he's done, is his, Jason Barr, bless you, is his honest feedback. And I'm very thankful for the revenue for our companies.
What's your password for your computer?
Hold on, no. I'm very thankful for the revenue for those companies. No, honey, we're on the internet. We can't be yelling passwords right now. 5-year-olds. What was really humbling was the end of that video, where he was talking about some of the Bible reading and instruction that I've done, and how deeply that affected him. And those words from him deeply affected me because I am just a normal guy. And if you see anything good in me, it's not because of me, it's because of the Father. And I try to read his word every day and do what it says every day. And it's not always easy, but it's very encouraging to see that other people out there are becoming aware of that. And that, I mean, it's Deuteronomy 28, Deuteronomy 30, obedience brings blessing. And so, and I know I've met hundreds of y'all and I've had emails from thousands of y'all to the same effect. And it always gets me the same every time. More so if I've met you in person and we share stories like this. And so it was just very humbling and also very encouraging. And I'm just kind of in awe about it. So, where's Homie Biscuit's weather reports? Carrie Beard, bless you.
That would be funny.
It gonna rain.
It's gonna rain.
It was mind blowing. Amen, Dudley.
So someone asked, what do y'all put back to make sure you're getting the nutrients in addition to just grain?
What do you put back to make sure we're getting our nutrients in addition to just grain?
So canned goods. We have a ton of canned goods, canned meats, canned vegetables, canned fruits. I
Not
also
yours.
have a freeze
Not
dryer
yours.
that we do leftover meals with. Big Sam.
Hey, Sam. Hi, buddy.
So, and with the freeze dryer, we can do dairy. So we've got milk and heavy cream. So that's what we do. But primarily canned goods, pressure canned meats.
Well, and when it comes to food storage, it's not just food storage, but food production.
Yeah,
Because,
growing.
3-season garden as well, working on extending it to a 4-season garden. One of my favorite things to eat is fresh salad out of the garden. I may not look like it, but your salad greens freaking rock.
Thank you.
You're
They
welcome. Do. And I get a question a lot about, Bear, how do I store fats? Because they'll go rancid after a year or two. Absolutely, they will, unless they're on the hoof. And we have a lot of meat and fat on the hoof.
Right. This last butchering, I actually made my very first batch of tallow, which was really cool. I'd never done it before, and it was super easy. I don't know why I hadn't, but I did it, and now I know how to do it going forward.
Hey,
follow-on question: do you have a preferred freeze dryer, and/or do you have any new freeze dryer recipes that you've discovered?
Oh, so as far as freeze dryers go, there's only one home use freeze dryer, and that is Harvest Right.
You have a link, right?
Yeah, I have a link. If you're interested, we can get it posted. But
how are you always downwind to me when we do this?
I don't know.
Always.
But I am.
The wind always comes from over there. So then I sit over here and it's like, no, sorry, man.
We're going to blow this way.
Now. Yeah.
But they're the only ones. And so far, it's been great. No. Hell no. I'm over here wrapped up in a sleeping bag. So far, it's been great. I did have one issue with a vacuum error, and it was a very simple part to replace. And so I got that replaced, and I'm back up and running. And I love it. I've got a load in there right now of copycat chilies, chicken enchilada soup, and some chicken green beans, like chicken gravy with green beans, and some turkey sausage patties.
And the follow-on question also said, do you have any favorite freeze dryer recipes? And I think it's important to point out, you just freeze dry what we eat.
I cook. Yeah.
We just leftovers go in the freeze dryer.
Right. And I always try and make extra so that I can at least fill up a tray. But probably my favorite thing to freeze dry are sliced apples with caramel drizzled on top. They are absolutely the bomb.
Let's see. 2 Bits and Pepper said, anyone in the nation know if an anthracite coal burner is worth fixing up and fueling? Got an antique in the basement of the new house already plumbed. I would think so. Given the way things are going right now, I think it would, as long as the cost to repair it doesn't exceed the perceived value of having it functional. You got to do a cost benefit analysis there. But I think that'd definitely be cool if you can feed it. Yeah, like Hunter Seeker said. I think it'd be cool. Who does your eyebrows? Me.
Occasionally me. When they get too swirly.
Oh, Nasharal. This is me. This is what I look like.
Someone asked me to go into the tallow thing a bit more.
The tallow thing. How did you make tallow?
So we basically just took chunks of fat from the animal and put it in a, you can do it in a crock pot. I have like a big cast iron Dutch oven thing. That's what I put it in. And then you just cook it on low forever. And the fat renders down. And then what you're left with is the tallow. And you can then strain it if needed. Because sometimes you still have like little chunks that don't quite dissolve all the way. But it's really easy. And then you just can it and store it.
What is Barb Millsaps talking about?
I popped over to check out a link.
I don't know. Barb, nobody has disrespected us. Simmer. Have you finished the cookbook? No, not yet.
No.
Let's see.
I saw somebody asked if I pre-freeze. Yes, I do I've done both. So it just kind of depends on if it's sitting empty and I got something I want to do right now, or if I have, because I do a lot of like just fruits and veggies from the store that are frozen, and I'll keep those in the freezer until I'm ready to do them, and then just pre-freeze the trays and dump the cold stuff on the tray.
Daniel Harbor said he's waiting for another cooking recipe from us too for Patreon. We need to do another prepper cooking video. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Cheesy chicken broccoli rice for the win. Well, and that came from because a lot of people, this is a good discussion. A lot of people, you included, were like, I don't want to just eat beans and rice when the world ends.
Right.
I said, cool. You're in charge of that. Figure it out. And you did.
Yeah. So we came up with 7 meals. And
excuse me,
we've done our food stores for the 7 meals. And then now I'm just working on extras, like especially with the freeze dryer, because, you know, canned goods are heavy and they do have a shorter shelf life. And so whenever I have extra time or extra that don't have anything in the freeze dryer, I'll open up canned goods and just dump those on the freeze dry trays and freeze dry it.
That thing basically runs around the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Do you have a home cure for dandruff?
Apple cider vinegar rinses help tremendously.
I was going to say no, and then you just blew me out of the water with that.
So you can actually do like a scalp scrub with baking soda, and then rinse that, and then do a apple cider vinegar wash. And then there's essential oils that help as well, like cedarwood, rosemary, I believe peppermint too, where you just kind of do a couple of drops of those and massage them into your scalp as well.
You hear the yotes?
I do.
I wonder if they can hear the yotes.
See, I know things.
I know you know things. I'll keep you around. Somebody's got to put me back together when I fall apart.
Right.
Somebody said suggestion for the wound care bucket, use gamma lids. We looked into that.
Oil.
We looked into using gamma lids. They are harder to source in the quantities that we need them. than a regular good old O-ring sealed bucket lid. Although I certainly have no problem if you want to source your own gamma lids and add them. So how has the electric bill been running the freeze dryer?
No significant change.
Which I was
Like,
amazed by.
Yeah. I want to say, like, when it's really, really running nonstop, I might see like a $15, $20 increase
Per month.
But even that, like, I would say we're probably just using more electricity. Like, the kids didn't turn off lights. We got another fridge. So yeah, it's been hard to gauge, but not a lot, not anything significant.
Shalom, y'all. Other than Yah, obviously number one, what activity makes you feel happy? Me, it's ripping with loud, strong power saws. Just curious. Makes me feel happy. Date night. Big fan of date night.
Yeah. I enjoy painting when I can get in the right mindset to do it. And fishing. Fishing is like my piece.
I like playing drums. I'm pretty accomplished at playing drums, and I like it. I'm learning to like being in the woods for no good reason again. Grew up pretty damn poor, and a lot of the protein that we ate growing up came out of the woods, and it became a chore. It was a task to be accomplished. Go to the woods, kill something, bring it home. And I'm learning to appreciate the woods again. Thoughts on entertaining children under 5 when at the campsite after dark? Get a children's Bible and read it to them.
I was going to say storytelling.
Yep.
Like, our daughter loves for us to tell her stories. And she also loves singing. So singing and stories, you can keep that child entertained for hours.
Cards.
Yes.
Card game. A little bit of a headlamp action with some colored pencils and some paper. Good to go.
Glow sticks.
Thank you, Fubar.
What? Glow sticks.
Glow
Yes,
sticks. Yeah,
glow
we had
Kids
a
love
rave party the other night. We had a little camp get together, and there was the chemlite bracelets. What is a good night for butchering chickens? I don't know why YouTube would hold that comment. Fubar22 America, thank you. A good night for butchering chickens. Get a paring knife, a sharp Victorinox paring knife, and a Mora is what I use. Mora, whatever the thing's called, companion. It's what I use for chickens.
And they work good.
They work great. Been prepping since January. Wife's still not on board. My in-laws think I'm nuts. Please help. God bless you both. Well, welcome to my world,
You're
man.
going to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes with the territory.
Just keep going.
Everybody thought we were nuts.
Well, you thought I was nuts.
I thought you were nuts.
Before everybody thought
and
we
then
were
I came
nuts.
on board with your nutness.
Right.
And then
you love my nutness.
I love your nutness. And
Got
then
it on camera.
and then but then whenever we both were talking about packing up and leaving and basically starting over, everybody was like, y'all are crazy. What are you gonna do? And
this.
Yeah.
You're gonna talk to the internet about prepping.
Yeah. But we dealt with you working in Texas for 6 months and
8 months.
while I lived here and driving back and forth. And so there was a lot of sacrifice in order to make it happen, but we made it happen. And people thought we were crazy for doing it. And now they don't think we're so crazy.
I'll tell you this. When it comes to getting your wife on board, I've been prepping for a long time, 15 years or so. I started prepping after Hurricane Katrina, which I believe was in 2006. And I've been with my wife for 10 years. And I've never stopped prepping when we got together. Just kept going, and you were not bought in on it. and I didn't care. I just kept doing it. But in the last 4 years or so that I've been publicly prepping here on YouTube, Patreon, and with the consulting, I've run into a lot of people whose significant other is not into prepping. Couple of words of advice for you. The first is you lack leadership capital in your home. You're dealing with a deeper issue than prepping. You lack leadership capital in your home. Your wife should trust you enough. It's one thing if you're into it, your wife's not, but she doesn't work at odds to you. She's not against you. It's another thing if she's actively working against you, and that happens a lot, actually.
What do you need, bud? What? Yes.
Yes, you can have a Sprite. But it's a trust issue, and that trust issue comes from a lack of leadership capital in your home. You're probably slacking on other things, and your wife's going, why in the world do I want to add one more thing? Why in the world do I want to add one more thing to the list of things that you're going to do when you haven't mowed the yard, you haven't cleaned the garage, you still need to get an oil change on your car, we haven't gone to the therapist, you forgot to pick Joni up from soccer, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's a trust issue. You got to fix that trust issue. And then the second, 2 more points. The second is I never diminished our household income to prep. And I was very honest with you about that. I said, I'm not going to spend our money for this. I'm going to go earn even more money. I'll earn extra money, and that's what I'll prep with. And so the household income never changed, never took anything. Well, we were going to get Jimmy a pair of sneakers, but instead I got some more AR magazines. That never happened. And then lastly, like we were talking about with the food prep, when you were like, I don't want to eat beans and rice when the world ends. Cool. You're in charge of that now. Mm-hmm. And so delegate, right? Have honest conversations and then delegate. Well, I don't want to live in that tent. All right, honey, pick out a different tent. I don't like blah, blah, blah. Okay. Suggestions would be great. What can I do to involve you in this conversation rather than just trying, executively authoritate. This is the way it's going to be, woman. And when the world ends, there's going to be zombies everywhere. And she doesn't care. You haven't made it personal to her, and she doesn't trust you with real world stuff. Why is she going to trust you with zombie stuff and SHTF stuff? So,
a couple people are asking, what if it's the wife prepping and the husband's not on board?
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, in the word, it says, how do you know, a wife, that your righteousness will not win a husband? Now, that has to do with salvation, not preparedness. But as long as you are, I wouldn't say checking all the boxes, but appropriately covering all the bases in your relationship, what does it matter? Right? And then you look for reasons why it's relevant. If your husband's like, you're like, honey, we need to prepare. And he's like, cool, we haven't been on a date in 8 months. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's relationships, people. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care that you want to get a freeze dryer or a pressure canner or go take a class on, tactical medicine, or you're interested in underwater basket weaving. You're not meeting the needs within the relationship to have the capital to have that conversation to get their buy-in. So you got to fix that. And then you can have an honest conversation about, this is why I think we should be prepared. Mm-hmm.
Well, and it is a conversation. Like, somebody said she doesn't want to live in the van down by the river. And that's okay. I don't want to live in a van down by the river either.
Son of a. I didn't tell you the bug out plan. Dudley, the van is off. Repeat. Dudley, the van is off. You were saying?
So you have to meet in the middle. You have to find out, like, what is it going to take for her to get on board? And you compromise.
I agree. It's a conversation. And see, that's the thing. The two of y'all should be pointed towards and aligned onto the same goals. Right? So, What?
Sarah's comment.
Take him out for a stroll in the woods. Drop him in an undisclosed location and tell him to survive back home. Bet you wish you prepped now. Sarah, I feel really bad for your husband.
Oh, no, they're
Alex
great.
Giles, shalom, brother. No, I think Sarah's awesome. I'm just thinking, like, she sounds like a girl version of me, you know?
No, not quite. No.
We bounce ideas from one another.
She has no
thinking this-
time like me,
Mm,
which is why I like her,
right.
because we don't run by clocks.
What's up, Chad?
Right? It's a compromise between gun and seeds.
Mhm.
Yes.
Suggestions for off-grid income that isn't internet related. I did an entire Patreon video on that. Look around and see what your community needs. Start a trash company. Go cut firewood.
Services.
Castrate bulls.
Yeah.
Survey land. 1,000 other things. Become a farmhand. Right? Change tires. Be a diesel mechanic. All of which are good, honorable livings.
Mhm.
You can just go work with your hands. Off-grid, not internet-based, that means go work with your hands. Hell, be a teacher. You can be off-grid. It's not internet-based. You can be a CPA. You can be an attorney. You could, like, lots of things you can do. Thank you, Lee. Over the bus.
So, someone's asked this twice that they haven't been spamming, so,
Uh-huh.
but it just comes from a lack of understanding of how things are here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sarah, what's something you secretly enjoy that your friends might make fun of you for if they found out?
I saw that question the first time.
But it's like, we spend so much time around each other, there's not a lot.
There's no secrets.
Right.
What is something you secretly enjoy that your friends would make fun of if they found out? There's no secrets. Like, in fact, part of how we live life, and they must be new here, but we bear each other's burdens. Like, we are voluntarily up in each other's business. We fellowship together, we eat together, we pray together, we work together. A bunch of us live together. It's like, I don't have secrets.
Right.
Stuff that I do for fun that nobody else knows about. Bro, it's very rare. I can't think of the last time I spent all day, just one day, but I spent all day without interacting with at least 3 other people.
Yeah.
Can you?
No.
It's been years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be years for me. Like,
It hasn't happened once since I've been here.
okay.
It's the majority of
Yeah.
2021.
So in 8 months, it has not happened. Yeah. And the other thing is,
And that's not counting me.
right.
That's
Yeah,
three other people.
yeah. Right. And I'm really bad at, I wear my heart on my sleeve, right? Like, I got a terrible poker face. I'm bad at lying. Like, if I was doing something stupid, even if it was in good spirits, like, there's no way I'm going to be able to look at my wife or lucky stalwart peacekeeper and not just have it written all over my face and be like, what have you been doing? Well, I put on my pink sequin leotard and I was dancing in the front yard to Madonna, singing some karaoke, and I didn't think anybody was here, but it turns out that the neighbors got it on video and posted it to TikTok. You know, like, there's
Why don't you use an example of something you don't actually do?
Oh, hypothetically speaking, then. We're too enmeshed for that stuff.
So
Right.
a more practical question: is there a large print version of the scriptures that we provide? Or
No.
do you just have-
No.
No, the large
see
print,
one.
you can get that at the isr-messianic.org
Yep.
website.
We've looked into bulk purchasing the large print scriptures, and the long and short is that's not something that ISR offers. And so we would actually be adding cost by providing it at grindstoneministries.com. So we don't do that. We just direct you to isr-messianic.org for the large print scriptures, because there's no price break there. And that's what allows us to have the regular print version at the price that we have it in the store at Grindstone Ministries, so that you can get it at our cost. it would actually cost more money to get it from us. And it would be, and you can't, there's no price break, and you can't bulk order them. So right now, praise Yah, we order copies of the scriptures. We order Bibles by the case, right? Which is super cool. You can't do that with the large print. They're one-offs. And so it just doesn't work.
Mhm.
So the comments regarding the previous topic are hilarious. Chad said, wow, I literally just did all that, but it started raining, so I had to stop and go inside.
Well, that's because you're an Indian. You're out there rain dancing, Chad. You're supposed to take it down a notch.
Scott B said, that'll replace the shark in my nightmares.
Oh, Scott, if you're dreaming of me, you've got bigger problems. Where did you say about the large print, please? ISR, India Sierra Romeo dash messianic.org. What's up, Lumph? What's up, Jay Morris? We freaked the post office lady out with our scripture orders. Yeah, we do. What's up, Tennessee Tactical? ISR had a hardback edition of the scriptures on special that I want for my birthday. Ooh, that's awesome.
Somebody said they got their adventure kit, and in 3 days we got it to Alaska.
Praise Yah.
Woo.
And thank you for ordering. That's awesome.
So this question, actually, I don't know the answer to, and so I'm curious about.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thought about being married by a pastor, regardless of a license? Like, regardless of
Having a
getting
ceremony.
right?
Yeah.
But then, like, maybe not getting a marriage license. Like, what's your opinion?
I'm actually very cool with that. What is your thoughts? And for those, hey, tell me in the comments, can you hear Peacekeeper in the background, or can you not hear Peacekeeper in the background? I got my SOB in 4 freaking days. You guys, thank you. The Matthew Clark, we have a badass team at the office. Hunter Seeker, Cracker Turned Torah, Faux Daddy, Sister Renee, and then we've had other people who shall remain nameless at this point coming in and assisting as well. Okay, so they can barely hear you. Copy that. Some can, some can't. That's fine. So the question was, what is your opinion on being married by a pastor but not necessarily getting a marriage license? I think that if you had to pick something, that's the right way to do it. I don't want the damn government in my relationship.
Why do they need to know?
You are married in the eyes of Yah. You do not need the government's permission to be married, nor do I think you have any onus to inform them of the fact that you're married. The government has no business in your relationship, no business in your bed. They have no business in your business, period. So, Bear Engine, you can't marry Mechmaster. He's your son and a dude. There's a double Torah. You need to knock it off, Bear Engine. But that being said, I'm not opposed at all to a pastor marrying you or having a ceremony, because what's happening with the ceremony is when a father walks his daughter down the aisle, he's handing off the covering from the father that daughter has been unto, biblically, scripturally under to that point, to the husband who now becomes her covering. And that handoff is a beautiful thing, and it's deeply symbolic. And I think it's almost, if you'll allow me this word, almost ritualistically important for all that are involved. For the people participating, for the father, that handoff is important. For the husband, that receivership is important. And for the daughter, the passing from the one covering of her father, who she's known her whole life, to her husband, whom she shall spend the rest of her life with, is deeply important. And then for all the witnesses there to understand that there's been a change in the guard of how this woman is now perceived and protected and blessed. And so I think it's a very good thing. Plus, you get to have a party afterwards, and that's fun. So,
2 bits on pepper dropped off.
Yeah. He asked if we're related to PJF. No.
We're not related to PJF. Well, actually, I've been unable to get him to take the DNA test, and so I can't say specifically that we are or aren't related to PJF. But at this point, old dad there has refused to take Pastor Joe has refused to take the DNA test.
Can you also clear up that we're not related?
Brother Phelps?
That we know of.
Yeah.
that we know of.
Yeah.
Well, he won't do the mouth swab thing either.
Yeah.
But no, we're not related. So, can you say you were PJF adjacent? Yes, I could say that. Shabba-dabba-dabba-da.
We sell just the guts of the SOB
He
kit,
just wants the inner pouch.
but
We could probably do a special order if
Yeah.
we had to. Email
25
admin,
versus 1. Yeah, just email us and
especially
Forrest,
5 versus 1's
yeah.
been here forever.
Forrest
Long
can
time.
work that out with
Long
you.
time supporter of the show. You got it, homie. Just shoot us an email. Admin@Refuge Medical. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, we're definitely brothers, just not blood.
Oh, D.L. Hemingway, I know. We're all brothers. We're brothers in Christ. It's like a Haley Grantham thing in the Ozarks. What's up, Vic?
So here's a more serious question.
Uh-huh.
It came up a while back, so I don't remember who asked it, but what is your advice for someone who's divorced with shared custody of young children when it comes to prepping and prepping mindset when the other household does not share that?
It's a really tough one. So you need to Hans Hammond, what's up, brother? Thank you. We have signal finally. 6,400 foot up in the air. Bless you, brother. Thank you. You need to determine what level of responsibility you want to take and that you can take for your children and your former spouse and whoever else is in these circles. We had a hell of a time when we put our feet down about certain people in our lives who could or couldn't be here. And that was interesting. I think you definitely prep for your kids. I would have a plan in place for your kids to get to you where you are at, maybe put some bags together for them, develop that plan, implement that plan, practice that plan with your kiddos. I also like to be very aware of where my people are at all times, not in a controlling manner, but if we got to spin up a QRF, a quick reaction force to go get you, I got to know where you are. And so I would stay on top of that as well. And then if the other party is not interested in your prepping, screw them. Well, but I get this a lot of the time too. Well, if my kids come here, my ex-wife is going to have to come here too because they won't leave her.
Right.
Well, then you need a plan. You at least need communication in a civil manner with your ex-wife. You need to fix that relationship.
You need to go and get all that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it all
Even if you're not married anymore, you at least need to be able to be civil with one another. And guess what? That's your ex. They don't need to approve of what you're doing. You just do it. Right. And then if something happens, you've got some plans in place.
It's just good for them to also be informed.
Yeah. To a certain extent. Right. They don't need to know all the details.
No.
But, you're not going to go ask your ex if you should take out some life insurance or change the policy on your vehicle from, basic coverage to comprehensive. Insurance, it's preparedness is just physical insurance. It's stockpiling physical goods coupled with skill set, heart set, mindset to perpetuate normalcy for the people that you love. You don't need anybody else's permission to do that. So do it. But if it's a personality issue, well, my ex-wife is a total raging B-word, and okay, well, you need to fix that, not just because of preparedness, but because that is the mother of your children, and you need to at least be able to be civil with one another.
Someone asked our stance on polygamy. I ain't doing it. And he knows that.
I have zero interest in it. Tim S., thank you.
No, I mean, it is biblical, but everywhere it shows up in the Bible, it never ends well. It's never a good thing.
The flip side of that is that Yeshua, most people call him Jesus, has multiple wives. That's all of us. And that's where you get the pattern of that coming down through. But it's always done when there's not enough men in the land or when there's a Well, look at Hagar and Avram, Abraham. Sarai didn't trust in Yah to provide her with the child that had been promised to Abraham. So instead, she gave Abraham Hagar, her servant girl. And Hagar went into her, and Ishmael was born from her. Now, the Father Yah still blessed Ishmael because he was from Abram's loins. But that wasn't Yah's plan. He said, I will establish my covenant with Yitzhak, with Isaac. It's like, I told you, bro, you and Sarah. Hagar come in here, tried to split this apart. It's actually the only place in the word where you see Sarah speak up against Abraham, because Hagar had come in between her. And that's, I think, the thing that happens. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I can barely keep one wife happy most days. The thought of having two or more is like...
I guess the first part of it, but one thing that you brought up that I agree with wholeheartedly is generally it's done out of lust.
Yes.
And it cannot be successful if it's done out of lust.
Yep. Generally speaking, it is done out of lust, and it cannot be successful if it's done out of lust.
Yeah. There's
always exceptions to the rule, comma. 1 Timothy 3, verse 2. You're saying, I can't remember what that is off the top of my head, but is that let the elders be the husband of one wife?
Yes.
Yep. We are the singular bride of Christ, not the wives of Christ. What's up, Dragon Shield? We are the bride of Christ, but every one of us is an individual within that body. So take that. Put that in your pipe, Dragon Shield. What's up, Forge? Shalom. My wife was not out of lust, still tough sometimes. Yeah, Sarah laughed because she thought she was too old too. That's exactly right. Yitzhak, or Isaac, literally means laughter in Hebrew. So think about that, because Abram laughed and then Sarai laughed. And then Yah said, cool, you're going to name him Isaac, which means laughter. And every time you look at that boy, you call his name, you're going to be reminded that I told you that I was sovereign over all things, including your fertility, and you laughed in my face. Let's just make sure we reestablish what this relationship looks like here. Mm-hmm. Lifelong reminder. And there's huge parallels between Isaac and Abraham's, the binding of Isaac, because he wasn't actually sacrificed, and the story of Yeshua, of Jesus upon the cross, which we're actually going to look at in this Men's Group Monday coming up. It's the Vayera Torah portion, which we'll study as a camp this Shabbat, and then we'll do it as a men's group this Monday, 7 p.m. Central on Patreon. So, but there's a huge parallel there. I mean, and see, this is the thing. Most people think that God had to kill Jesus to atone for sin. Negative. Yeshua himself says, no one takes my life from me. I lay it down of my own. Right? And so it was a voluntary sacrifice that Yeshua did to atone for your sins, to pay for all your bullshit. Isaac was 25 when he went up the mountain with Abram. People think he was like an 8-year-old kid. He was 25. And he was carrying the wood for his sacrifice upon his back, just like Yeshua was carrying his stake. And there's 100 other parallels. It's deeply, deeply meaningful, and it's a huge foreshadowing, a huge type of the coming Mashiach, of the Messiah. So, yeah.
Do you want to go into the Jubilees version of that also?
The Jubilees version of that? Send it. Just speak up so they can hear you.
So it was also interesting to me that I had been raised with the Bible stories, right? And it seemed very much like Isaac was duped into being the sacrifice. Mm-hmm. But in Jubilees, it's very clear that he actually was boasting about being willing to even do that to his brother. And that was then brought by the enemy before Yah, and he brought it all the way to that point. And all the way up the mountain, he told Abraham that he had no reservations. He was happy to do it if that's what Yah wanted. Mm-hmm.
And then the place that this takes place is Mount Moriah, which is where Abram called down the name of Yah and established covenant with him. We don't need to have do the Torah portion on Thirsty Thursday, but yeah. So the point is the covenant was established through Isaac out of the loins of Abram and Sarai, not out of the loins of Abram and Hagar. So Isaac knew what was up. What's up, Okie? Can I get a witness? Hey, man.
Can I say an opinion? And if I'm off track, feel free to rebuke me.
Okay.
I've seen a couple of comments, and I've heard it a whole lot more often of a wife saying, well, I'm sure as heck not going to share my husband, right? And I understand the sentiment of that. But Sarah was so adamant that Yah's purpose for Abraham be fulfilled, that she was willing to do that with Hagar for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just something to bring up, to be mindful for wives of that. That could be a mindset issue as far as like priorities.
She was trying to fulfill righteousness as she understood it by giving Hagar to Abram,
Right.
because Abram's seed was to be blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And Yah was like, hey, nice moves, but Isaac will come from Sarai's seed.
Yeah.
Right. So you're saying that there's an element of obedience to this.
Well, it may not necessarily, if that mindset.
By
goes
having the
over
mindset
into other
of,
things.
I ain't ever going to do that,
Right.
you're putting a stumbling block to a
Right.
potential.
Right.
And not even that would necessarily be about polygamy, but if that mindset persists, it could bleed over into other things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I ain't going to go out and live in the country.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But if your husband's called, your family is called out there, that's all I was saying.
Right. Well, Sarai respects Abram's headship 100%. She literally refers to him as my master.
Right.
So I see what you're saying.
And like fully bought in on what his vision was, like what he told her, obviously, about Yah's plan for his household.
Mm-hmm. Did my stuff lock up? Perfect.
Good job.
Good plan. I saw a comment go by and I don't remember. Oh, right there. Bear, what is the difference in the law pertaining to mixed fabrics, ceremonial cleanliness, etc., and foods? Christian asking sincerely, not snarky. K. Roach, that's a lot to go into. But what I will tell you is that if you have specific questions, chapter and verse, all that's covered in the Torah. And I've had a lot of people say, oh, I need to get a copy of the Torah. You have one. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the first 5 books of the Bible. And I have videos from Genesis 1 all the way through the end of Deuteronomy. I mean, up to Joshua. Hell, we're in Kings right now, as well as almost the entirety of the New Testament, working our way from Genesis 1 forward and from Matthew 1 forward. And I've addressed whatever those questions are, specifically chapter and verse. I'd encourage you to go to the playlist here, either the Old Testament or the New Testament playlist, find the chapter and verse that you have a question on. Oh, yeah, it's in Deuteronomy 16. I really don't understand that. Go watch the Deuteronomy 16 video. I went out and bought this.
Add something to that?
I guess.
In regards to, a lot of people get mixed up on the mixed fabrics, and I recently came across something on this, that it says such as linen and cotton. not to mix linen and cotton. Modern science has recently, I say recently, in the last 5 years, something like that, discovered that fabrics have their own frequency. And linen and cotton are the only two that when they touch each other, they cancel each other out, and it's actually a drain on your body. Other fabrics, like you can mix rayon with cotton, you can mix freaking polyester and rayon, like you can wear silk and polyester, like that's not what it's talking about. It's specifically the words that are in that scripture. So just don't stumble on that.
Cool. Somebody said, why can't we eat pork? And the answer to that is because it's not food. You can eat whatever you want to eat.
Right.
It's not food per Leviticus 11. And it's literally referred to, the swine is literally referred to as an abomination. And I would encourage you to go read the book of Proverbs where it says, the Father does not hear your prayers when you are abominable. It says it elsewhere in Isaiah 52, chapter 1, and your sins have removed you from the presence of Yahweh, your Elohim, since transgression of the law. 1 John 3, verse 4, New Testament definition, sin is transgression of the law. So you can eat whatever you want, you're just in sin while you're doing it. And a lot of people will say, well, God said all animals were good. To which I would respond, what an American thing to say. Yeah, all animals are good. The pig is a trash compactor. It's also really good in a forest ecosystem for turning up the understory. It's not food. Just like a horse is really good for pulling a carriage or for riding or for skidding lawns.
You shouldn't eat it.
But it ain't food. Eagles are really cool for lots of reasons. They're not food. Platypus. I don't know what y'all was thinking when we made a platypus, but it's not food, right? And so all of these animals are good. They're all useful. They're not all food. So what's up, Mitch Marsh? Bear, can we ever get a video of you playing the drums? You need to pay more attention. There's 2 of them that exist. Use that YouTube search bar.
How long has it been since you played the drums, brother?
It's been a few months. So you don't believe in the dispensations, I guess. I believe, well, we're not even going to get into this.
Yeah.
I would recommend, because I have zero interest in arguing with anybody specifically or particularly about my beliefs right now. If you want to know what I believe, go watch one of my Bible videos. 2 Timothy just posted this past Sunday. Go watch that one. That one really sums up well what I believe. And honestly, you don't need to believe the same way I believe. That's between you and the Father. I believe what I believe. And search Bear Independent Testimony here on YouTube, and you'll find a 3-part video series on what I believe, how I was raised, why I am the way that I am now, all the things that I went through, so forth and so on. It's not my job to beat you over the head with my convictions, and I don't intend to do that. However, I also won't take any shit from people that don't respect my convictions. So, thanks. I've watched them, still conflicted, more study and time. On my 4th trip through the Torah, entire Bible now. Awesome. What's up, Anna Powell?
Thoughts on the biblical firmament/dome earth theory?
Ain't going there right now.
Okay.
I don't.
6-pack of bow fangs with upgraded mics and antennas with programming cable. Go for it or save for higher quality, piece at a time.
Oof. 6-pack of bow fangs with programming cable and chargers and all of that. Go ahead and get them or save for a higher quality. Bow fangs work until they don't, but they do work. They do work. And honestly, we have a bunch of bow fangs, and I'm fairly rigorous with them. I've had several bow fangs. There's one on a battle belt right over here that's been outside, heat and cold and weather and whatever for the last couple years at least. It still works. You turn the knob and it turns on. They're not as clean. There's a lot of bleed over between different frequencies. You'll get interference, but they work out of the box, unlike more expensive Yesus, which have to be Mars modded. which is obnoxious as shit. And then you have to program them is a whole nother thing. The Yesus. And so the Baofangs work. There's a lot of aftermarket support for them. They're easy to program. You can just use a program called Chirp to program them, and they work. And so what we did was we started with Baofangs, and we upgraded from there. We have multiple different types of radios for multiple different applications, and what those are doesn't matter. And even if it did matter, I wouldn't tell you because legitimate OPSEC, bro. But Baofangs will get the job done. And if you have no radios now, then I think you're better served with Baofangs that you have programmed right now than you are to 6 Baofangs now that have been programmed is probably better than 2 Yesus a year from now, the way things are going.
Agreed.
And if you've got the money a year from now for 2 Yesus, then get 2 Yesus to augment the 6 Baofangs that you have. Another thing that happens once you start doing radio stuff is I literally look around sometimes, earlier today being a good example, going, hot damn, we have way too much radio stuff.
Yeah.
Go do some radio things. And all of a sudden it's like, we don't have enough radios. What do you mean Bob doesn't have a radio? How does Bob not have a radio? Like, what the hell? I guess we need more radios. So, buy European Yesu. Says Okie Storm Chaser. He knows a thing too about this stuff.
So you will get better quality on that, and you're also paying for better audio quality. It sounds nicer when you're listening to them. Like, you can make out what they're saying easier and stuff like that. But if you need a functional radio, a Baofeng is perfectly fine for 70% of the people.
The other thing too with the damn Yesus is everything's proprietary.
Yeah. Programming
cables. Nope, need a Yesu. Programming software. Nope, need the Yesu software. Oh, I have the FT65 hardware. Does that work for the FT60? Nope. What about the programmer? Nope. What about the charger? Nope. Can I take this lapel microphone that fits every other brand of radio and plug it into a Yesu? Nope, because the pins are just a little bit closer on the Yesu. So everything's proprietary, and that's a pain in the ass. But they're definitely better radios than the Baofangs.
And there's entire YouTube videos about that. Once you get above Baofeng, you break into 3 categories. And so Yesus, yes, they have their proprietary, but so does Icon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's 3 branches you can go once you get above a Baofeng. And each has their own pros and cons. Personally, I think Yesu is best for what I ever used it for. But each one of those branches has its own.
Did you get the dwarf apple tree planet?
I'm sorry, I completely spaced on the comment. I don't mean to interrupt you.
I wrapped it up.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the bow, Mr. Phelps. Yeah, tell him, did we get that dwarf apple tree planted?
Yes, we got the dwarf apple tree planted, and then we also got the cherry tree planted. We did that today.
Yeah, if you've been following along with my 75 hard updates, when I say rock PT, that means me picking up and putting down
huge rocks.
Big rocks. Not that big. That's a 1,500-pound rock.
That's my arm.
Sorry. Go ahead. You can brag on it.
But yeah, huge rocks.
Yeah.
Huge. And I got it lifted some too.
You did. And then you were like, well, let's just scooch it like an inch.
Yeah,
like, baby, it doesn't scooch. We need the skid steer to scooch it. It does not scooch. So, yeah.
But yeah, now all we have left are the 2 peach trees that I've got to figure out where I'm putting them.
Well, we got an apple tree on either side of the outhouse.
Yes.
Right. We got cherry tree
and
over
then the
here.
Dwarf apple over here.
Dwarf apple over here. And what's right over there by the chicken?
Those are cherry trees.
Those are cherry trees.
That one and the
with
other one.
Amaranth planted around them. And then
we have 2 peach trees.
Guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
And then I got 4 cranberry bushes and 2 lingonberries and 4 blueberries and 1 aronia berry that we still have to plant.
What the hell's an ammonia berry?
Not an ammonia berry. It's not pneumonia.
Pneumonia berry. Sounds delicious.
No, it's choke cherry. Or
okay.
choke berry, not cherry. chokeberry.
And what was the thing that we transplanted up at Grandma's?
That was in Nandina,
Nandina.
which are purposeless. I don't want no
They're so
Nandinas.
pretty. Sorry. You blame Hans.
Yeah.
He's the one that gave me this.
Hans's
Thank you,
fault.
by the way, Hans. Get the elderberry going. All right, Jimmy James. You're in charge of the 5-foot shovel.
Yeah, I got elderberry. I talked a neighbor down the road into letting me dig up his part of his big old patch. And so I got 3 good size root balls that I got planted. So we got the elderberry now.
Do you guys have a horse? Nope.
Nope.
Grew up with horses. Not really interested in horses. I'm not saying they're not right for you. They're not right for me.
Can you expound on why? I'm curious. Why they're not?
You don't know the horse story?
No, he needs a donkey.
Yes, oh,
He needs a jackass,
Oh,
not a horse.
So they kill him.
So we had horses growing up. Gunshot wound to the
They would
head.
not have
Go.
caught that. Felt said so
Uh,
that they would get along.
So we had horses growing up, and those bastards had to be fed twice a day.
Most animals
and-
do.
But here's the thing. I never rode them. I never did anything with them, but they needed hay in the morning. 27 hay bales in the morning, 27 hay bales in the afternoon, 10 gallons of water, every one of them. Brush them, muck the stalls. I've literally mucked a pile of horse shit.
Uh-huh.
I'm not exaggerating. 16 foot wide, 4 foot high, 150 feet long, with a wheelbarrow and a 5-foot shovel. That's what I was given to handle this problem with by my dad.
That's ridiculous.
I don't care about horses. I can't eat them.
I'd rather have sheep.
I'd much rather have sheep. And if I need to pull a wagon, I'll hitch it to Gertrude out here and we'll be good to go.
Right. Which we had
So-
twins today.
Oh, yeah. Tell them about that.
So I've had a ewe that I've been watching. She looked like she was bagged up, but we also just pulled babies.
Lucia needs to make that T-shirt. I've been watching you, EWE, with the sheep on the front of it. It's all like bagged up.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm always watching my sheep. But I saw her this morning, and I was like, "Oh dang, you've definitely bagged up." And she was acting all funny. And then I had to go get my daughter from school, and I was like, "Don't go into labor. Don't go into labor while I'm gone." And I pulled in the driveway, getting back like 20 minutes later, and she just started going into labor. So I got to watch that. But she had a boy and a girl, and I have no idea what we're going to name them yet. But
I haven't even decided.
we have
One of them. Name one of them.
officially kicked off lambing. season.
Name-
It's got a brown spot.
Yeah.
It's got to be something.
Yeah, that's the boy.
Not the Pesach.
Yeah.
We already got a Pesach lamb, unless he gets shot in the face and
Yeah,
now
just
and
because
then.
he's freaking annoying.
Horny bastard.
Yeah, horny bastard.
Yeah, that's his new name. I
Okay.
named him Horny
Well, we
Bastard.
just killed his brother, Wooly, man.
Yeah. He's like
So-
7 months old, and he is literally trying to hump my ewe while she is pushing out a baby. Like, the baby's head's right there, and he's like trying to knock her up. And I was so mad.
Man said the horse story was a shitty story.
It was. I guess we gotta eat another sheep on Shabbat.
Yeah.
Name one.
No,
Isaac.
I got a big stick, but he was like, he kept like going with the ewe, because they were together. And I didn't want to hit the ewe. So
I actually have a video.
I ended up picking up her babies and like running over to our sheep pen, and she ended up following. And
I actually have a video of you looking very shepherdish.
yeah, with the
With
stick.
Two Catan and Dorp across Hunos last weekend. Get a male late November. Awesome, Stay Survive. That's awesome. Just like an Amish. I'd say they'd be offended, but if they're watching this live stream, they got bigger problems.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have leftover lamb in the fridge.
We got 20 pounds of lamb in the freezer. We
and
gotta
lamb in the
grind.
freezer. Yeah, I need to get that freeze dried too.
The lamb in the fridge or the lamb in the freezer?
Both. No, the freezer, not yours.
Guess who just volunteered for Common Guy?
Who just volunteered for Common Guy? Jay Johns.
Jay Johns.
Look at that. What's up, Jay Johns?
Come on, Jay Johns.
Come on, brother.
Professor Marianne here. What's up?
We have
Keith
enough
and
land.
Maria. What's up, Professor and Marianne? Badass people right there.
You
See you
name your
guys
food.
soon.
Yes,
Prove it.
Josh, I name my food. I want to know who I'm eating.
Most guys have an axe to grind. Bear has sheep, lamb, and an sheep, lamb, beef, and yeah, for sure.
Or you could just get a livestock guardian dog. Just make sure you train it right and not just throw it out in the field with livestock.
Named food is always better than number food.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I literally will look at them and tell them, I'm going to eat your babies.
Yeah. And most
Or
of the
it's-
boys we actually don't really name. They just kind of come up with nicknames like asshole and
Or woolly man, or horny boy,
Yeah.
or that one with the spot.
right.
Opinions on Jordan Peterson, Bear. I think if more people listen to Jordan Peterson, the world would be a better place. I don't love everything he's ever had to say, but how boring would the world be if we agreed 100%? So,
Somebody asked how Sam was, so you should show him. Show them how
how
Sam
is Sam? Can't even see him. He's just
Yeah, he's right there.
I don't like
Uh,
it.
no. It's a matter of the angle.
Oh.
He's passed out on the porch.
Right. He's dreaming. His little legs going.
AK Samfire needs a PSA that gyro meat is the worst way to evaluate lamb.
Yeah.
Oh, Euro meat?
It's
No,
like,
that's not.
mm-mm.
That's not how you eat lamb.
So look, I got rid of the German Shepherd Otto because there was too much, and so yeah, Monica
Good.
got Otto.
He lives elsewhere now.
Yes, but he's still being very well taken care of.
By the way, speaking of Monica, the next Patreon small business live stream that we do, for those who are interested, we're going to do them once per month. And the next time we do it, we're going to have the whole team around the round table. So,
Yes,
including Stalwart
you're
Peacekeeper,
gonna get all of us.
Monica, Renee, Foe, Hami, myself. And so you'll get the whole panel for the next small business live stream on Patreon. Even Monica, yeah, she was like, I'll do it as long as there's wine or margaritas involved. And we're like, we can make that
or
happen.
my lemon drops.
So, or your lemon drops. Right,
Yeah.
that's what it was, wine or lemon drops. Sanctified. Lost 9 ducks to coyotes in one night. 2 coyotes about,
Yeah, you need a dog
yep.
or electric fencing.
Tom,
But
you ask a
a dog
lot of
would
weird
probably be better.
questions. Your impressions of Masonic Lodge type, satanic. You don't need my input on that. When can we do a women's retreat? It's being planned right now.
Yes.
Did you have the cybersecurity stream of storms? I have not. I need to reschedule that. Dudley, let's reschedule that. So stuck on himself instead of focusing on God's children. What the? And hey, Mike Smith, kiss my ass. You can come. No, you can't come assist with Caleb House. Mike Smith.
Yeah. With
Pseudonym.
lamb, you just need like
I know who
olive
that is.
oil, salt,
You do?
pepper,
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit of rosemary, and that's about it. And that is like the bomb. The bomb. Although the last ram that we butchered was in rut,
Yeah.
which we haven't had one like actually in rut when we went to butcher, but some of his meat was a little funky, but only some of it, not all of it. Nothing like goat. A goat and rut, you can't touch any part of that animal. Canning 42 chickens and ducks while listening. Awesome. Good job.
I don't know.
What makes cucumbers better? Generally, they have grown too long.
Want no more.
The older that they get, the more bitter that they are. So try picking sooner.
Have you looked at columnar apple trees, tomato housings?
Have we?
Is rut like being in heat for cats and dogs? Kind of, yeah. Hear a Bigfoot yell lately? Nope, they don't like the sound of a shofar. Patrick, you hitting on my wife? I gotta beat your ass, Patrick?
Somebody asked about the column apple trees, and the ones that I got are dwarf and semi-dwarf, so they are gonna end up growing more. What do you say? What's the word?
Columnar.
But so they're not gonna get like super big.
When you say oil with lamb, do you mean olive oil? Yep.
Yes.
Yep, olive oil. Does the bear fat have clotting agent? Yes, it does. It has a roll of quick clot rolled gauze in it. Yes, they survived. You are absolutely correct. Goat and rut is abysmal.
Yes.
It's not food at that point. It's not food.
Dog won't even eat it.
Yep. Made the dog puke.
Yeah.
Any suggestions on keeping an ivy seed from freezing over in winter? That depends entirely on where you are. Hey, what's up, Tommy? Bless you. Thank you. Came over from Wranglerstar. Thank you for feeding us who want to hear. KB6 LCW. I feel like that's a ham radio title. Or either that or you are really famous on AM radio. But I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
So here's a question that ties kind of into
So here's a question.
Here's a question that also,
Sorry, you had a really good rhythm there just for like a hot minute.
It ties in with a question that I was gonna bring up earlier and it just didn't work. But tips for finding a relationship, and the previous question was, how do I find like-minded people? And I feel like those two kind of go together.
Mm-hmm.
There's of course nuance with finding a real relationship, as Lumen Library asked, but the other person was asking just like, how do I find people for what we do? And yeah.
Okay, how do I find people and or tips for finding a relationship? So this morning I was in the woods hunting. And I was not out in the road.
Window shopping.
I was window shopping because I have no room in the freezer. Comma, I have brothers who have room in their freezers. So I was somewhere in between window shopping and hunting.
We call that perusing.
Perusing. I was perusing the offerings of the woods this morning. I was not out in the road window shopping. I was not in town window shopping. I was not in the center of a lake window shopping because that's not where what I was looking for is. All right. So first, what are you trying to accomplish? Oh, you're good. What are you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to go deer hunting, you keep looking up in trees and squirrels, you're probably not going to see any deer. Right. And so go to where the things are. Go to where the people are. And so go to Viking meetups from Viking Preparedness. Go to a Viking meetup. Become part of a Viking prepper group. Go to the forums at bearindependent.com. Still run to this day by J.S. Badger. Good work, brother. I've killed lots of deer on the road, though. Well, you drive 90 miles an hour on the back roads. It's going to happen. So You can go to training events like refuge training or sheepdog response or tactical response or tactical rifleman or any combination of the words response, rifleman, or tactical or anything else like that, right? So go to where the people are. Another place, not all places, but in a lot of rural areas, the churches tend to be a little bit populated by a little bit more rugged type of individuals. And I think a lot of people are being awakened right now to the fact that the world's a little weird and maybe I should do something about it. So you got to go where the people are. You know, a lot of times people say gun shows, go to gun shows. Well, maybe. The thing with gun shows, at least a lot of the gun shows that I've been to, is the quality of person who's into preparedness that you're going to find. There's not necessarily that they're bad people, but that their focus is wrong. The kind of people who are buying their 14th AR and they don't have 2 weeks worth of food in their pantry, let alone a year or 2 or 7. So you want to be aware of that. You definitely need the AR. I mean, I'm within 9 feet of one right now, but it's not the only thing you need. So go to where the people are, form an event, or hi dog, or co-op. This is classic intelligence operations. Do not lick the back of my neck, dog. Co-op the group. Co-op the group. You know that the local cattlemen's association would be a good way to meet people who live in the rural areas and are probably pretty independently minded. Okay, join the local cattlemen's operation, and they've got 52 members in Bob Jones County. Okay, if 10% are into preparedness, that's 5 people in your county that you just met. Ham radio clubs are another one. There's a lot of overlap, believe it or not, with the incredibly nerdy subject matter of ham radio, which is also vitally important, but incredibly nerdy. Oh my gosh, today. I don't know if you could tell, but we've been doing radio stuff today. I want to bash my face through a wall. Honestly, and I say this with all love, I don't know how you hammies do it. I don't know how you do it, because I'm like, I'm not a dumb person. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You know, they're all like, don't brick your radio. I'm like, no, don't chuck my radio like a discus as far as I can 60 yards into the woods, because that's what I'm thinking. Like, so, but ham radio.
Oh, this is durable. How does it hold up to a 12 gauge?
Yeah. Yeah, ruggedized. Yeah, we'll see how rugged. And so, oofta. Sorry, I glanced at the chat, completely lost my train of thought. So ham radio is another place that you could find like-minded individuals. Yes, they do. Mountain plainsmen or Montana plainsmen, Katahdins were bred specifically for their meat. So they do taste way better.
You hungry?
But yeah, go to the forums, go to where the people are, go do the things. And that's the other thing, is you don't just like build a group overnight. But maybe you can co-opt a group. Gosh, such a big dog. Come on, let's get your food. ATF agent at the gun show. Why are you here, Billy? Sir, I'm here for the dating scene. What's your experience on your homestead? What are some ways to get rid of stumps and other roots after? Heavy equipment. Cut the bottom out of an oil drum and set it over the top of it and set the thing on fire and burn it out. Drill holes in it and fill the holes full of milk and let the bacteria that forms eat the stump. Let's see, smaller trees. You can take an axe and a pickaxe and expose the roots and cut the buttress roots. But all that to say, heavy equipment rocks when it comes to that. And maybe rent a stump grinder. Most rental yards have a stump grinder that you can tow behind a SUV or a half-ton pickup truck. You can grind the stumps out. And they're like It's been a while since I rented a stump grinder, but it was pretty reasonable. A couple $100 for a day. So I live in the suburbs. How can I defend my house? I feel like it's too late to move off grid. Well, moving and moving off grid are two very different things. So let's not conflate the two. It's never too late to move. You just feel that way because moving is more difficult than not moving. So what you want me to do is tell you really nice things about how you can be really well set in a suburban area, I'm guessing, to mitigate all the potential damage and disaster that will come from a significant SHTF-like event. And the short answer is I would be 100% lying to you if I said anything other than just move your ass. There are ways, but at some point, you're going to have problems. PJ from Viking Preparedness. Your two main threats are starvation and people behaving badly. And I expand on that by saying population density matters. The more people you have around you, the more people you have competing for limited resources. And if you're the only person with resources, guess what, homie? It doesn't matter if you've got 2-foot thick concrete walls and you've got RPG mesh over your windows and you've got battlements and you've got emplacements and you've got a moat full of crocodiles. At some point, you're going to have to sleep. At some point, there's going to be more of them than there are of you. At some point, things are going to get so significantly weird that you can't actually hold down your little fort anymore. And I know this because I lived in the suburbs before I lived here, and I took stock of the situation. And I came to the grim realization that I could hold this place for a little bit, but not for a long bit. And so if I'm looking at something like, oh, the grid went down because we're a bunch of dumbasses that tried to replace reliable nuclear power and coal power and diesel fuel power and natural gas power with things like wind and solar. Oh, the grid's down for 2 weeks. I could weather that storm, literally and figuratively, in the suburbs. If a hurricane hits, or there's an earthquake, or a tornado, or a big old winter storm, a nor'easter, yeah, you can deal with that in the suburbs. If there's a societal collapse, that's not the kind of thing I want to deal with in the suburbs. Because it's population density. Factions will form. The weak will fall by the wayside. The strong will make their will be done. And if you're sitting on the fence, they will knock you off of the fence and take whatever stuff you have that they want. And possibly to the detriment of you and your family as well. So, Carrie Stennett, bless you. Thank you so much.
Cindy P said.
Sandy P said.
She wanted to say she's not able to catch many live streams.
She's not able to catch many live streams.
But she wanted to thank you for introducing her.
But I want to thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Cindy. Bless you and praise Yah.
Following Yahweh has changed her life.
Amen. Following the Father will do that for you. It's almost as if
our lives.
It's almost as if Deuteronomy 28 is real. If you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, then you will be blessed. Then. It's almost like in the Gospel of Matthew when Yeshua is speaking, chapter 19, verse 17, when the rich man comes to him and says, Rabboni, Master, what shall I do to enter into life? To which Yeshua responds, if you wish to enter into life, guard the commands. Refute that one, haters. Look at that moon right up there.
I know.
For signs and appointed times.
Beautiful.
Also, Rosemary, Shannon West. Also, Yeshua says in 19, verse 18, Rosemary. That's right. He said in verse 17, if you wish to enter into life, guard the commands. And then in verse 18, he said Rosemary. That's exactly right. How many acres is good for a homestead? Oh, man. What kind of car do you want? It's like saying, how much does a car cost?
All depends on what you want to do with it.
All depends on what you want to do with it. By the way, guys, there's over 1,500 exclusive videos that answer every one of these questions one at a time in depth on Patreon. And it's $5 a month to get started there. And also once per month, I put up a post called Give Me Your Questions, where you get to ask your questions, and then I will do a pre-recorded video from 10 to 30 minutes in length answering your specific question for the entirety of the class. And there's 3 of those that post per week on Patreon. And so you're getting a lot more in-depth answers, and a lot of times with my historical data and my experiences to back it up in those videos on Patreon. So if you want a more in-depth answer to any of these questions, Fitcast, bless you. $5 a month, Truckmeister. Thank you, Dustin. Bear, do you own a TV? I do own a TV. It sits at the foot of my bed on top of the dresser that has my socks and underwear in it.
We don't watch that often.
JT, who's asked a question that he must just not have been around.
Thank you,
long,
Daniel. Yeah?
But you're not married to an AR brand, right?
No.
But
Not
you
married.
like PSA.
I like PSA because they perform incredibly well for the price point.
Right. But I don't think you have anything against the Daniel Defense.
No.
It's just that price to value.
What I have against Daniel Defense and Bravo Company are the people that buy them that never take them out of the box but think that they're cool because they bought a rifle that they've never zeroed. And it's like when people go, "Oh man, your gun looks so cool. How did you paint it like that? How did it get to look like that?" I hung it in a tree and I spray painted it, and then I went and used it. That's how it looks like that. You see me. I have a rifle on damn near every day. It's part of what I do for exercise. I throw on a ruck, I sling a rifle, and I just start rucking. And so like every day I'm using a rifle.
Yeah, and people ask, they're like, how do you get that take my nerd card from me. What the freaking Star Wars dude?
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, yeah. How do you get your weapons to look like Boba Fett's blaster and whatnot? It's like, yeah, you spray paint them, and then you run through the woods every day for a year.
Right. And then it looks like that.
And then it looks
like that. And then when you start seeing the original paint, the original coating and/or bare metal, you spray paint it again, and then you do that. Yeah, I have guns around here that got a half a dozen coats of spray paint on them. They probably weigh an extra half a pound from spray paint at this point. And so, no, I'm not married to any particular brand, and I don't have anything against the more expensive brands. In fact, they're good weapons. You know, they are, Bravo Company, Daniel Defense, Noveski, hell, Sig is making some really good weapons right now. They're great. They're great weapons. But buying a high-end rifle that you never train with is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that I have with those. There's a lot of people that are trying to buy their way into competency by spending 2 to 3 times as much on a piece of equipment.
Yeah, there's a meme about it even that, you don't need a $3,000 rifle. You need a $1,000 rifle and $2,000 worth of training.
That's exactly right. So that rifle that's hanging right there before Corona Apocalypse, all in, including the optic, the muzzle brake, the light, everything there, $650.
Yeah.
And that rifle has over 4,000 rounds on it, and it just runs.
Just works.
It just runs. $650. Built it out of a parts kit, and it's a palmetto upper, and the rest of it's built out of a parts kit. Yeah. It just runs. So now, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what things are selling for right now.
I don't know. Well, I built mine, and I used primarily, don't blank on the name. Anyways, I used an upper parts, upper, and mine was
Arrow.
Arrow Precision. Thank you. And mine was 11 pushing 12. Yeah, but that was at the right at the onset of COVID.
Right.
So it's probably higher even now.
My recce rifle I built years and years ago, that was $1,500 in parts before, way before COVID, not including the glass.
Yeah.
And you know what? It shoots about as well as that one does for
Okay,
$650.
between mine and yours, there's very little difference. And so far, you've got a red dot, and I've got an LVPO.
Yep.
LPVO.
LP, I do the same thing, bro.
And
I got an LMNOP up
yeah,
there.
a bitch is a dyslexia, man.
Oh man, thoughts on the Ruger 5.56? I've run them. I think they're pretty good, but I don't have any long-term experience with them. But I've heard good things from other people. Texas T, shalom, brother. Thank you. I'm hanging with Lumph tonight. Oh, is Lumph doing a live stream tonight? Hey Bear, what polymer frame 9mm striker fired pistol should I buy? Oh, Drew. Hey Bear, have you seen the Chosen series? I have not seen it. I watch remarkably little television.
It's hard to do that outside.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think that's something else that you live outside, legitimately live outside, and that's not like a euphemism. No, he lives outside, and so when everybody's like, you don't understand, I can't just come out here, my people. Like, he has spent the last 8 months, including summer in Oklahoma, in a hammock in my backyard. STFU. Like, just stop, right?
Yep.
And then I'm outside from
Before I wake up.
yeah, probably about 6ish, between 6, certainly by 7.
It's 5:30 to 6:30.
Yeah,
I'd say it's a good window.
in that window. So just call it 6ish. For about 6 and I'm still outside now.
Yeah.
I have been inside for literally 2 minutes today,
Yeah.
because that's how long it took me to microwave the food that I had for dinner in the microwave inside. So, and the rest of the day I've just been outside, and that's the way I am. If it's 100 degrees outside,
Yep.
okay. If it's 0 degrees outside, okay.
Yep.
Like, it's just what I do.
So my concrete Hades, my hammock is rated to hold up to 650 pounds. It's 650-pound person. So that's one in like ridiculously large person, or 2 people, honestly.
Mm-hmm. What is the Warhorse case there? I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
What do you mean? You don't mean AJ Fernandez, Manowar, Ruination, Warhorse cut? Guys, I have big hands. Look at the size of this cigar. I love these things.
So that ties into a question from quite a bit earlier. I don't know if they're still online, but
Uh-huh.
what's your favorite Gurkha cigar?
Oh. Gurkha Beast. Gurkha Beast.
The Beast.
Yep, the Gurkha
I know
Beast.
you liked the Beauty a lot there for a while.
I like the Beauty too. I like the Gurkha Beast. I really have
You're a
but-
Beauty and the Beast kind of guy?
yeah.
I said you're
A tale as old as time, man. A song as old as rhyme. Yeah, that's right. Beauty and the Beast.
I'm gonna go check the babies.
Right? I mean, be my guest. Be my guest. Put our service to the test. The hell was I saying? Ave Maria box pressed Divinias have been, oh man, they've been my jam here lately. I gave brother Alex one of those the other day. He was like, "These are good." I think he's on here. I think he's still on here. But
I think I'm gonna help myself to a cigar. If you don't.
oh yeah, okay, well, that's fine. Go, it's fine. Go for it. Shalom, Mitch Morris. I don't know about Bear, but I painted my hair 5.56 to make it blend in better in rural Kansas. Yeah, that's another thing to point out. I don't paint my rifles to be a cool guy. I paint them because that way they blend in. Because black is the least common color in nature. And so if you have an all black, pseudo shiny, semi-gloss rifle and you're in all camo, guess what sticks out? The rifle. And they're a very distinctive shape. And so, you know, what's the 7 S's of camo? Shine, shape, silhouette, sound, something other.
Something's the fifth S.
Yeah, so all the other things with S's.
By the way, it's funny you have these in your humidor. This is one of my favorite Gurkhas, the Park Avenue.
I have them in there because you put them in there.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
That would explain
you
it.
got some and they're like, hey man, these are for you. I was like, thanks. So, but now they're for us. You want to sit over here? She went to go look at the sheeps. As strong as old as time. My rifle is now a mess of brown, green, tan splotches of Rust-Oleum camo paint. Yeah, so what I do is I go with a base color of dark, like dark brown or green, and then I go back over it with like tan and lighter green. Yeah, and you know, back in the 70s, tiger stripe camo was really cool. Yeah, and when I was growing up, all the GI Joes had tiger stripe camo, and I always thought that was cool. And so I just kind of go in a stripy pattern. And then literally like Stalwart Peacekeeper was saying, you take your rifle and you run through the woods with it. And you know what happens? It just all gets kind of
dinged up and scratched. And
yeah.
I mean, you throw it in the back of your truck. I throw it in the back of the Jeep. Like,
oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. I actually read somewhere, and to my knowledge, this is true. Black does not occur in nature. Gray and dark muted colors occur, but true black doesn't occur in nature. It's a man-made color.
What about black snakes and panthers?
So panthers are not black.
Are you bringing up my handicap again?
Has
anybody told the Black Panthers that they're not black? Because I don't think you're too white to utter that phrase.
Yeah, right side brain. Yeah. Oops.
Cole is black.
Patrick said, "I beg your pardon."
Manashi prepping. Shalom.
Get our live stream canceled.
Oh man, what about like cobras and stuff? Aren't some of them black? I don't know.
No, that's true. I guess in like foliage, like there's no true black plants that I can think of.
No,
like it's all like browns and dark blues and stuff like that.
Yeah, ravens, crows. Yeah, but you're right as far as like plant life. No, it's not black.
Yeah.
Well, and black's also associated with death, and so your eye goes right to it.
Yeah.
Especially like a black thing standing in a hayfield. I see you. A black stick in a hayfield.
It's like a black thing. Be careful, bro.
You need to simmer down. Loving this rabbit hole. Black bears. Yeah, well, bears aren't plants, but yes, you're correct. You're correct.
Yeah, great. So it's funny. People always like question me because a lot of times I'll get my base gear as gray and then spray paint over that. And so the base color is gray, and then there's all kinds of mixed other colors over it, rather than going black.
You also don't want to touch any of the bright things in nature either. That's correct. Reds are also pretty bad.
Yeah.
Bright oranges. Please come to Vegas and teach a level 1 class. Fat man, we tried. We could not rent a facility out there.
Yeah. So you don't know this because I handle all this, but there is actually someone that might be providing us facility. There might be a Vegas class in the future.
Oh, good. Just own this company. No big deal.
You own it. I run it.
Ouch. Oh, man.
This happened a couple days ago. But
that's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, paint your damn rifles.
Yeah, for real. I mean, rattle canning it is the best.
Any trainings planned for South Carolina? You mean like, no, South Carolina? Currently, no.
No, there's Charlotte, North Carolina. or you can pop down to Orlando
or Atlanta
or Atlanta.
or Atlanta.
Yeah, you have
Or
three
Birmingham
options.
if you're feeling froggy.
Yeah, you have three options: Orlando,
Yep.
Atlanta, or Charlotte.
Or you could have gone to the Nashville class. Or you could just go on a road trip and go to the one in Salt Lake City. Or Dallas. Or maybe Wichita.
Yeah, if you want to check out, if you want everything all together, and literally we haven't recently to civilians offered everything because the CPR AED training hasn't been covered in most of our civilian training. But if you can make a trip to Dallas or Salt Lake City, we're doing our what we're calling essential responder, and that is the all-encompassing class. It's a 2-day class that covers responder 1 in the morning, responder 2 in the afternoon of the first day, and then the second day is responder 3. So you get all 3 of them back to back.
You want everything. Level 3 is awesome. Agreed. Thank you. Lucia made the comment, what about leopard print? I'm thinking leopard print. I just got this image of Lucia in like a leopard print leotard with like little cat ears and a tail, holding a leopard print AR, just running through a field. And I'm like, yeah, that'll work. That's probably fine. Lucia, you were cleared hot for leopard print camo and a leopard print AR. So, how do you feel about caffeine pills in your inch bag? So I don't have an inch bag. I don't have a bug out bag. I don't have a get home bag. I have a rucksack. And because, let's be honest, it's all the same shit, people. Yep. It's literally just all the same stuff. It's just, if I'm never coming home again, okay, what do I need? The same stuff that's in my bug out bag because I'm leaving my home. But what if I'm at work and I need to get home? Now that bag is my get home bag. And so I don't get wrapped around the axles with nomenclature. That being said, caffeine pills, if you're not a coffee drinker, go for it. I'm a coffee drinker. I have instant coffee in my bug out bag, and I don't need to heat water in order to drink it, although I'd like to. But if I'm in a non-permissive environment, I can dump it into my water. And the other thing about that, while caffeine is a diuretic, so you need to watch your water intake, it's also going to help me drink more water. So, plus, if you drink a lot of caffeine and then you stop drinking a lot of caffeine, you have the potential to have debilitating headaches for up to 3 days.
Yep.
And so if you take a lot of caffeine and then you stop taking a lot of caffeine, that could be a major issue.
Yep.
So
I think they're good as long as your caffeine intake, like you were talking about, is mild to moderate to begin with. So I go on these training trips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have like a get home bag. I have a 72-hour bag that's with me all the time, whether
Right.
I'm home or not.
Right.
The 72-hour bag, that's 3 days of, and I can stretch 3 days to 6 with training,
Mm-hmm.
right? Training and skills, you can stretch that. But I have a solid 3-day pack. That's what I run. You call it a rucksack, I call it a 72-hour bag. Like it's whatever. Nomenclature doesn't really matter at that point.
Bless you, aka Alice. Thank you.
So someone asked, they're new here, right?
Okay.
They just got here.
Okay.
Should they start at the beginning of the Bible study videos, or should they jump in where we are?
I think that has to do with how much of your Bible you've been reading. I would say start at Genesis 1 and Matthew 1. Start there. In the beginning, Elohim, and this is the genealogy of Yeshua Messiah. Start there, and then work your way forward. And then if you feel like, and by the way, I'm not your pastor, okay? And if the only time you read your Bible is when I'm reading mine, you need to work on that. But if you find in Genesis 1 and Matthew 1 that, you're up to speed and you're ready for more, then come on and meet us where we're at right now. Also, we're coming up on the 4th week of the Torah portions on Men's Group Monday. And so if you're on Patreon, and the coming Torah portion is Vayera, which means Yah appeared. If you're on Patreon or you're new to Patreon, go back and watch Bereshit and the Noah, and the Lech Lecha. In the beginning, Noah, and go for yourself, the story of Abraham. Go watch the last 3 weeks so that you're caught up for that. They're about 90 minutes longish.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to say that. I think in any context, starting at Genesis 1 and Matthew 1 is a good advice. But given the fact that we just started that is very much easier to catch up on. If you want to say, like,
Yeah.
if you're wanting to roll along with the current, that is the easiest way to catch up. Is three videos to catch up on 9 readings, between the Old Testament, the prophets, and the New Testament, 9 sections of verse, right? 3 readings. In order to be caught up and then roll with an assembly, essentially online, right? And again, not that should be the only time that you dust off that book, right? For absolutely truth. But yeah, if someone's searching for truth and wanting to do it with others, then I think that would be my advice.
Yep.
The best.
Well, and 2 things. The first is, it's not on Patreon because we charge for it. It's on Patreon because it's exclusive and it keeps the riffraff out. We're able to have a live stream of men dedicated to the Father every week and diligently study his word without having to worry about assholes in the chat.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. That's worth the cover charge. And I'm unapologetic about it, because we do so much more on Patreon than that one thing. There's also,
honestly, if there was a way, and I know this from living with you, right? If there was a way to get that filter in place without someone paying for it, you would do it at the drop of a hat. Because we are very adamant about people not having to pay to access the word.
Yeah, I don't want to earn a living from the Father's word.
No. All the other videos on Patreon, that's what people are paying for.
Yep.
Right. This one simply exists there because it creates a filter that is necessary in order to peaceably convene around the word.
Right. And also, there's also Women's Group Wednesday for the ladies in here, so that you're aware. And the women are doing the same thing.
Same vein.
Yep. And so if you're a lady and you're like, cool, I want to plug into that, there's Women's Group Wednesday on Patreon as well. And then the other thing I was going to say is that you are required to do your homework for Men's Group. Like Peacekeeper was saying here, you don't just pick up your Bible on Monday evening and go, I wonder what we're going to talk about tonight, because it's going to go way over the top of your head.
You'll be lost real quick.
That fast. And so every week we post what the Torah portion is. And by the way, it's not just Torah. It's not just Old Testament. It's Torah, the half Torah, which is the prophets, and the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament. And so we're reading the law, the prophets, and the New Testament, the renewed covenant, each week. Okay, it's called Torah portions. And so it's, the Torah, the prophets, the resurrection each week. But we post the Torah portion that we're doing, plus what next week's homework is. So what do I got to study, and not just read, but study in between now and next week. And it creates a very spiritually profitable environment when you're intentional with that. So
Definitely.
it's like a cover charge at a bar. Troll riffraff doesn't like to pay to be foolish on their keyboard. That's exactly right.
So this is a question for someone else. I wasn't aware of this, but apparently convicted felons can't own body armor?
I had no idea. Is that a state thing or a federal thing?
I'm not sure. Zellwood
I like what you guys got to
Logos.
say, but the cursing is off-putting, to be honest. Well, I got to tell you this. I've spent a large portion of my life trying to censor myself to be more approachable to more people, and the fact of the matter is I can't. So if you don't like the fact that I'm swearing, this isn't the channel for you. I don't do it because it's bravado or ego or hubris. It's just the way I communicate. And because I communicate this way, I reach a certain subset of the population that otherwise wouldn't be reached. And so I totally understand if you feel the need to go, but I'm not going to apologize for it. So understand at a minimum, this is PG-13 content. And with that, I wish you the best.
Meanwhile, I would admonish you to read Romans in regards to how to deal with people who are not where you are in your walk in a certain facet. So maybe you're there and others aren't. If you're able to glean beneficial content, I would say glean that and ignore the rest.
It's not egregious.
Right.
I'm not over here, MF or son of a B, but son of a
GD this and whatever.
mother.
No.
Yeah. So, no, I didn't know that about body armor.
So they were asking, they made that statement, which I was not aware of, but then they were asking, are there alternatives to commercially available body armor?
Not viable.
Okay.
No, I've seen people. I mean, you saw that thing with the phone book.
Yeah.
Dude died.
Yeah.
And I've seen people, make homemade body armor.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work well for you.
Yeah. I mean, you can buy AR-500 steel, but the thing is the cutting it and shaping it and coating it, because the problem with AR-500 steel is that when it gets hit by a bullet, that the metal from the bullet has to go somewhere.
Yeah, the spalling.
And so it spalls, and that's where you end up with neck injuries, which there's a couple of important things that run right here that you don't necessarily want penetrated. Yeah.
Stay survived. You're correct. Yeah. So when the Father says, I set before you today life and blessing or death and curses, he's not saying death and bad words. That's not what curses are.
Right.
If you can wear your own body armor due to legal liability, learn to seek cover and move fast.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Can you get the felony seal expunged? I don't know. I'm not a felon, so I don't have any experience with these things. All right, we game Grizzly. I've had enough of your shit. Bye. What else we got?
My freaking YouTube started lagging.
My kids won't hear me swear unless they know we've made a mistake worth of parental anger. I don't swear willy-nilly around my kids. I'm not around my kids right now. And here's the thing. I'm never going to apologize to you for being genuine. I won't do it. And if you don't like me or don't like where I'm at, don't be here. That's okay.
Well, and as a testament to that, your videos, your mannerism was a large contributing factor as to how I was able to receive what was being said. And so there's people out there that are saying similar stuff, right? Everyone says things differently. People say that and it's super humbling, but people have told me that recently, like, the way you say something just, reaches me. I'm like, I don't know why I'm saying the same thing TJ just said, but, so maybe it's not the right channel for you. Maybe you need to find another channel that has the same content, but that is saying it in a way that you can receive.
Why does your ego need your ears tickled in order for you to be able to receive something? That might be something you need to think about and pray about as well.
Yep.
Can I have that?
That's true.
Closed bottle of water over there?
You may.
Thank you. Fabuloso. This is my last one for the day. 75 hard. Be peeing like crazy. Am I allowed to say peeing? Is that acceptable?
Yeah. You didn't say pissing, so it's
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I couldn't say pissing. That'd be a problem. Definitely haven't done a lot of pissing lately. What were you going to say?
You've been rocking it on the 75 hard times 2.
Thanks.
You took a break for Sukkot and then right back on it, hitting it second time around.
Appreciate it.
Man.
At least you're not telling people to drink water from the neighbor's water hoses.
Hey,
Dragon Shield, look at you. Dragon Shield knows what's
Bringing
up.
up the history.
I heard Dragon Shield might be our neighbor now.
Really?
Yeah, we got to find out.
Mm.
We got to go put a move on him. Watch your 6, Dragon Shield. We're coming for you.
Let me put that in the operation calendar.
There you go. Dirt Riders, bless you. Bless you. There is no channel with the same content. Well, there you go. There you go. Civil War, April 12th, 2022. Michael Osterwise is from the future.
I was saying,
Hey,
good luck with that.
In the meanwhile, do you have any investment tips that I need to know about? Make some short money.
Some lottery numbers. Just saying. Look a brother up. We can split it. Like, it's fine.
Oh, man. Earl Dippet Jr. Sounds like a Marvel movie.
How over the top do you think Alex Jones is?
Man. I enjoy listening to Jones and Rogan talk. Many people are unaware that I've done some content for the InfoWars channel. So I think that Jones tends to get a little spun up and get his blood pressure up. And I think some of the stuff that he says is a little far-fetched, a lot of what he has said has turned out to be true. Yeah, Jacob M., if you're upset about swearing, how do you think you'll survive the war to come? You're going to get hit with something a lot harder than words. I agree completely.
That comment jumped out to me also because I was in the Army for 10 years and I was in combat, right?
Sandy Owens, yes.
There's 2 things that don't exist when bullets are flying. There are 2 things that do not exist: atheists and clean mouths. They just don't exist in combat. Like, they just don't. Someone else had a good question though, and I'm gonna paraphrase your question. Forgive me, because
I want to say one more thing before you do.
Yep.
For those that are looking for the speck in my eye about the way that I talk, and especially since there's new people here who are unaware, I played drums in satanic death metal bands for a decade, and now I read the Bible on camera. Okay? I have given my life to my Creator by the blood of His Son. Let's maybe pick some other things to start an argument about. Like, I've done some really bad shit in my life. If you don't like the fact that I say shit at this juncture in my life, I'm not your guy. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not your guy.
And I was a legit Norse pagan heathen for over a decade of my life.
Yep.
So, I mean, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes, we're turning the friggin' frogs gay. That's correct. What were you going to say?
I was going to say something.
A paraphrased question.
Paraphrase. Oh, because, yeah. Thank you. So, I'm paraphrasing it because they obviously don't know that you have made provisions so that your children don't know that your children don't experience anything other than normal after the end of the world. So what provisions have you set aside, or are you thinking of setting aside?
Good night, Sean. I love you.
What provisions are you setting aside, or have you thought about setting aside that are not normal provisions? They're things that you're setting aside because you want to continue to propagate normalcy for your household after the balloon goes up, the end of the world, whatever you want to call it.
So, as far as provisions are concerned, some easy examples. My son loves peanut butter and jelly. I have a lot of peanut butter. Did you know you can get peanut butter in 5-gallon buckets?
I learned that after I met you.
You can get peanut butter in 5-gallon buckets, and they are heavy AF, man. But I have a lot of peanut butter. And jelly, we have jelly, we can make jelly, and things like, how do you make jelly going forward? That's a good skill to earn.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie O'Keefe, bless you. My fiance turned 36 pregnant as a Wednesday. Awesome. Praise the Father. And so, other things like you can go to webstaurantstore.com and get 50-pound sacks of chocolate cake mix. Good night, sweetheart.
Good night.
I love you.
Love you too.
Feel better? Okay. Hey, set your alarm and tell your brother to set his alarm, so I don't have to be the alarm again this morning. Ask him. Yeah. The old dad failsafe. Good night, hon. So you can get 50-pound sacks of chocolate cake mix. That's pretty cool. Bread is the type of thing that most people are like, yeah, you take it for granted. You go to the store, you get a loaf of bread for $2, or maybe it's really nice bread for $6 or whatever. No big deal. Got lots of flour, lots of yeast, lots of all the things that go with that, right? Other things as far as prepping for kids, what kind of kids, how old are they? One of the things that people miss all the time, everybody that pay attention, you either are a woman or you have a woman in your life. Deal with the ladies in your life, deal with their monthlies. Have stuff put back for their monthlies. Okay? Well, I don't want to think about that. You really don't want to think about it when the freaking world has ended and it's like, what are we going to do? Here's a rag. Right?
I'll also say for 70 to 80% of the men out there, consult with them about what to get for their monthlies.
For sure, because
there's
a lot of options.
Way more options than you would think.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yeah. I don't know. Is it a super heavy day?
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, these don't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
These don't work.
What do you mean they don't? Right. So. Anywho.
2XL is not always helpful.
Right. But, it's specific things for my kids. You can go the other direction with this. Board games, paper and pencils and crayons and markers. We have an area of our property that's actually developing into a playground right now because that's how many kids we have. And it's just we just started calling it the playground.
Yep.
Where is it? They're at the playground. And so that's pretty cool.
If your kids like to draw, consider how difficult it is to make a pencil or a colored pencil.
Paper has value as well for strategic reasons, and whiteboards and expo markers, things like that. Legos. Gosh, I can burn, the question earlier about like, what's your guilty little secret? It's not a secret, but I can burn a half a day playing Legos. I love Legos. I really do. And so do my kids.
That is no surprise to me.
I like building things.
You do like building things. Yep.
And I'm very methodical when I build.
I can see you enjoying how there's like 600 pieces in this like section of whatever you're building.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
It has to be this size piece. It has to be that shape.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
So I'm a hunter. I find all the pieces that I need first, and then I start building. So, hi, baby.
Huh?
Are you coming back?
No,
Or
I'm going to bed.
you're going to bed? All right. I won't be too much longer. I love you. You're getting waters. 3 of them?
No, this one has like that much.
Oh, are you deeply dehydrated?
Yes.
I heard a tater.
Yeah.
There he is. Somebody was asking about Tater earlier.
They were.
Oh,
I
yeah.
told them that he was off killing mice.
Secretary of Health, a transgender. Yeah, Boo's
Yeah.
Corner. I've seen it. Like, was made a 4-star admiral, has no prior military. I don't understand why people continue. There's Potato. Thank you for putting this dangerous cat who's been eating filthy things all day in my face. I'm not a cat person. This is one of the few cats in my life that I would allow to continue to live.
Because he does his job.
Don't you jump on the computer. Goodbye. Yeah, because he murders rats.
I consider him slightly less evil than other cats.
Yeah, I just feel like he's evil, but he's our evil.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I don't understand why people continue to put faith in a broken political system when it's a broken political system. And make no mistake, the upper echelons of the military are political. So, would you agree with that?
I absolutely would. So someone asked me a follow-up question about the jelly. Would you made the jelly, not me. But how do you make jelly without pork?
There's clean. It's not pectin. There's another one. It's sugar jelly.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget what the hell it's called, but it's definitely a clean
Sounds
option.
like a harmony question, honestly. But
It is.
yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, but yeah, pectin is. I believe it's pectin. Let me not speak out of turn here. It's definitely not clean. Whatever it is, your standard jelly making is not clean.
Yeah. Kyle E asked, what are your thoughts on starting a woodworking business to help fund for preps? Economy seems a rough future ahead. He just kind of wants your thoughts on the process of how to start that.
Almost like we just did a small business live stream on Tuesday on Patreon.
I missed most of the content of that.
Literally,
but yeah.
literally 50 hours and 12 minutes ago, I talked about this. I'm happy to readdress it. So the first thing I would say if you're starting a woodworking company is woodworking equipment is expensive and takes up space. So if you already have the equipment and you have the space to do it in, and I mean basic stuff, you're going to need a table saw, a miter saw, a bandsaw, a work table, an orbital sander, a nail gun, an air compressor, and storage. That's basic. That's just like bare minimum stuff you gotta have. Probably a circular saw, a jigsaw, and some other. You don't need a sawzall for woodworking. That's for demolition and plumbing and some electrical.
Bless you, Andrew.
Gesundheit, Andrew. So all that stuff's expensive. Yeah. Well, okay, I'm gonna go, entry level. Okay, go get an entry level jet table saw. 12-inch table saw, it's still $3,000 plus the electrical to run it. You got a dedicated 30-amp circuit and blah, 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 blah. It's expensive to get into woodworking. Also, it depends on what you consider to be woodworking because there are vast chasms of difference between what some people consider woodworking and what other people consider woodworking. And I was lucky that I learned under a true master, Danny Jackson, although not the Danny Jackson who's here in the chat, but I think of him every time I see Danny Jackson. So a lot of expense, a lot of space, a lot of storage. So if you already have the stuff, good. If you don't already have the stuff, why are you going to spend thousands of dollars on a startup in an uncertain economy? Unless here's the thing, what's your value proposition? How good at woodworking are you, and what is the market, and how are you going to differentiate yourself in that market? If you're going to make cornhole boards and flags, frankly, everybody else is making cornhole boards and flags, and so how are you going to do it that's better than everybody else? You'll get a handful of sales from people that that love you, who want to support your business, and that's good, but it's going to dry up pretty quick. The other thing with woodworking is if I build cabinets for you and I go hang the cabinets and then I do your trim, I put crown molding where the cabinets meet, the upper cabinets meet the ceiling. Cool. That's a job. Then maybe you're like, hey, we want to do our base mold. Okay, I'll do your base molding and I'll trim out your doors and your windows. Okay, that's something else. Cool. And then years later, you're like, can you build me a table? And I build you a table or a rolling island on casters for your kitchen. Okay, cool. But I might in a lifetime do 2 to 3 jobs for you as an individual. Now, if you're doing it for a builder, where you're the type of carpentry and woodworking that you're talking about is doing stair risers, building cabinets, building furniture, doing trim mold, even making custom doors, stuff like that. If you're doing that for a builder, you're going to have continued business. That's a service. If you're offering a product, you have to have a way, either way, you have to market them. But even with a product that's made out of wood, whatever it may be, I'm probably going to buy one of them, maybe 2. If it's really good, I might tell Phelps, hey, man, you got to get one of these 2, right? Hans, bless you.
No.
So it's not going to be an instant thing. Building businesses aren't instant anyway, but you really, and here's where trades work is vitally important. You have to guard your reputation with your life and always operate with honesty and integrity and do good quality work, because that word of mouth is literally worth more than spending tens of thousands of dollars in advertising to try and garner business. So
several people have made comments about hand tool woodworking. And so the thing is, power tool woodworking exists because it's more efficient, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're dealing with all hand tool woodworking, you are trading time and money for the tools and equipment and all that stuff, and the speed that they do those things in. You have to backfill that with skill. And like hand woodworking is not something you just pick up and do. There are people out there who do 17th century like riven oak furniture and stuff like that. Yes, there's like a dozen people that do that, and that's a dozen out of millions of people that do that. And they can make a lot of money from it, but that is a lifelong skill that is learned. That is not something you just pick up and do. So don't be disillusioned in thinking like, oh, well, I'll just break out the draw knife and the friggin'
I got news for you.
Do this.
It's gonna be bad if you've never done it before, and nobody's gonna buy it.
Yep.
So, all right, here's a picture. This is a joint. This is hand cutting a joint for a table right here. Okay, that's me. I did this. Let me. Here's another portion of that table right there. That's all hand done joinery, and that's done out of beech. It's a 4.5 inch by 6.5 inch beech column there for part of a table. And then let's see where the rest of that table comes together. Here you go. There's that joint put together, that through joint. And then you can see a dovetail there for supporting the top of the table. This is all done by hand. And then, Wheeze when she was little baby Wheeze. Here's the table before finishing. And I don't know if you can see how the joints are pinned together, but all this is being done by hand. Okay. The joinery is being done by hand. I cut all of that wood with a table saw.
Right.
But the joinery is being done by hand.
Try cutting a 48-inch freaking straight line with a handsaw.
Oh, forget it.
Just do it one time.
Forget it.
You do it when you can cut a 48-inch straight line with a handsaw. You're ready to get started in the hand woodworking.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see if I can see the top of that. Oh, there it is. Here's the end of the table after it was stained, coming together. Nice farm table here. They had a solid beech. pinned together with walnut. So I don't know everything there is to know about woodworking, but I do know a thing or two. There's the tabletop. And if you're going to make money woodworking, you better be at least good at it, if not damn good at it. And you're going to spend a ton of money to make a little bit of money.
Yep.
And it's also incredibly hard to scale.
It's very hard because you are the only person that possesses that skill.
Yep.
So it's not something that you can just, okay, well, now you're going to take over this part and I'm going to run this.
Mm-hmm.
No, because you're the only one that holds that skill. And the skill is not something like a wireless mouse you can just hand to someone.
It's not commoditized.
Right.
And that's the thing. Your service and your product is commoditized, but the skill that it takes to produce it isn't. And there's also not a lot of, at least in my opinion, my experience, it's not something that's being taught at a great level.
Absolutely not.
So
that's the reason there's only, like I said, probably a dozen people that do like quality 17th century ribbon oak furniture.
Here's a box beam ceiling in a dude's closet that we put together. That's all stained grade maple right there. I mean, and that's just a bazillion pieces of wood to make that. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's a bazillion pieces of wood. So
Dragon Shield said, special order, bear fact and cherry wood.
that'd be cool. This is a Riffsawn white oak library. And I don't know if y'all can see the detail in that.
I see a lot of pictures of that, and that is beautiful.
But my wife designed this and had yet to produce the drawings. And so I was literally scribbling the details on a napkin at the hospital as she was about to give birth to my youngest daughter so that I could produce this. And I installed this when Aspen was 2 days old. The one end panel of this one cabinet that you can see appearing on the right-hand side has 97 pieces of wood in that one end panel. So, like I said, I don't know everything there is to know about woodworking, but I do know a thing or two, and you can make a living at it. You can certainly make a living at it, comma, you're going to spend a lot of money to make a little bit of money, and you better be good at it to even make that money. So, Cadmiel Folkt, good night. Narnia is on the other side. That's nice work, Bear. My cabinet looked like a leaning mule barn. Thanks, Romans.
Matt Bays wants to send you a holster. So I told him to email admin at Bear Independent.
Okay, dokie. What else we got?
So there's something to be said for that. So it's good to have an understanding of things like plumbing. And I just caught half of a comment. So I'm sorry if this is not where you're going with it.
John Q prepared a bunch of them. Go ahead.
It's good to have a basic understanding of the things like plumbing, woodworking, stuff like that. It's good to have a good basic understanding of that. There's a massive, massive difference between that and the type of proficiency it requires to create from scratch an entire object that has the type of appeal that people are going to want to pay for.
Yep.
Right. So I can make a functional bookshelf right now. It's not going to look like that. You know, I can make a shelf that holds books, but it's not going to look like that. You look at the detail. Look at that. I mean, look at.
So John Q asked, how many hidden compartments have I done? This was in a closet, a master closet that led into the panic room in this house. So watch the camera. Everybody look at the screen. Focus. Oh, it won't focus. Oh, come on. It's too bright. Oh, well. Let's try one more again. Maybe if I knock that way down.
Yeah. Maybe.
But lots of them to answer your question. There we go.
There we go. That door still just amazed me how you made that clear. That's beautiful.
That was a full-size cabinet, 36-inch wide cabinet that swung on a very heavy-duty piano hinge with ended up being installed with a hidden latch that you can't even tell that it's there. So,
yeah, it's a Batman style closet.
Yep. Thank y'all. So, I don't know everything there is to know about woodworking, but we did take
2A friendly Narnia.
hand fit joinery. That's right, Tommy. But we would get truckloads of raw boards, which we would plane and edge and then rip and then cross cut to length and then work with. So, is that whittled? Yeah, I whittled all of that.
I agree with Court, though. Tradesmen will be in high demand in the near future. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I've talked about this at length. Plumb, square, and level is plumb, square, and level. It doesn't matter if we're pouring a concrete slab or framing a house or putting a roof up or building an outhouse or putting cabinets in or welding something up. Plumb, square, and level is plumb, square, and level.
Yep.
And at some point, if you do enough work, you start to figure out how to work. There's a flow to work. There's a right way and a wrong way, a better way and a worse way, an expedient way and a slow way to get things done. And so just having the experience in whatever trade it might be is good. It's good to know. I mean, I've done everything from that cabinet that I just showed you there to standing up wind turbines. Plumb is plumb. Like it's either straight up and down or it's not. If it's an 8-foot tall cabinet or a 362-foot tall turbine, it don't matter. It's either plumb or it's not. Yeah. So
I would also say, though, that if you have a natural desire and tendency towards something, then pursue that. So yes, not to detract from that at all. Plumb, square, and level. And learning how to work, right? But then I have zero desire to learn about plumbing. Zero whatsoever, right? Welding, on the other hand, is more interesting to me. So there will be people that have skills at plumbing that will be very valuable. There are people who have skills at welding. They'll be very valuable. There'll be people that know how to hand cut joinery that will be very valuable, right? So it does also depend on what your desires are, but there's a host of trades that you can pursue to that end. And I had to come to the realization here recently that I'm sort of a jack of all trades type person. And I had always been kind of chasing this idea of like, I need to find that trade where I can be a master. Right. Well, I really didn't. It's good to have a surface level understanding of a bunch of things and maybe a below surface level, like a good proficiency at one or two things. But you don't have to be a master at that thing. Right. So, yeah.
Justin Riddlin said, plumb, straight, and level, those are hard things to achieve all three together. Ninja level building, in my opinion. I was given my specification on standing up a wind turbine was 10 thousandths of an inch within plumb. and we hit it every time. And when we'd put up highline structures, 80 to 120 foot tall highline structures, I was given 1/16 of an inch within level on all four legs coming down. Had to be within 1/16 of an inch, because when you have a very tall structure, a variation of 1/16 of an inch on the bottom causes great variation on the top. And so you want that sucker as close to dead plumb as you can get it.
Yeah, leatherworking. That's a big one also. Yep. That's true, Ted Cent.
That's awesome.
Sewing. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Listen to all them yodis.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Parakeet assault. Bear, what don't you do well? I don't sing well. I don't dance well. I don't rest well.
You don't take days off well.
I don't program freaking radios well.
That's true.
I don't do that. I don't know. There's things that I'm better at and things that I'm worse at, but like Phelps is saying here, having a basic understanding of a lot of things can be a very good thing. You're a drummer. Most of us don't sing well. I am a drummer. That's true.
How good of an artist are you? How good can you draw and paint?
I can't paint worth a crap.
Yeah.
I can draw with a pencil pretty well, with a pen pretty well. In fact, I used to draw quite a bit.
Your buddy admitted a weakness. Shouldn't he learn it?
What are you talking about?
Nuts comment.
No.
Nels.
No, that's what I'm saying. What was Nils talking about?
So here's the thing.
Thank you. Fixing it blind.
It's good to have people,
Yeah.
right? So I don't have to learn plumbing because Harmony knows plumbing.
Right. She's good at it.
She's really good at
Yeah.
it. She's honestly better at it than if I invested a year trying to learn it.
Uh-huh.
Or 5 years probably. I don't know the depth of her knowledge of it. I just know that she knows more than probably half the plumbers that you could hire off freaking
For sure.
whatever. Like, she's really good at it. And I'm not. And it would take me probably 5 years to get to the level of knowledge that she has. Why would I invest time in that when I can be investing in time in something that she's not as good at, right? So we all work together on that. Mm-hmm.
There it is.
I'm pretty sure that's at Coyotes.
Yep. I know. Bear, what about a tree house for bug out location outside of the suburbs in the woods if you live in the suburbs? Man, you need a real bug out location, not a tree house. I think tree houses are cool. We were just talking about this the other day. I think that, like, if you want to swing from a rope out of a tree and scream bangarang like you're an extra in the movie Hook, go for it. I think that's cool. I'm not betting my life on that. And that's the thing that people, you need some sobering reality here. You're betting your life on this stuff. And so the more planning and the more intentional you can be with this stuff, the better it's going to go for you. So a tree house in the woods, maybe. What happens if I find the tree house? Well, you have the advantage of height. I could set your tree house on fire. Now what are you going to do? I'm also pretty good with a chainsaw. So Jesus is my only bug out location because I don't have any property, just in an apartment. Well, and I mean this with all due respect. Yeshua himself says, pray that your flight comes not in the winter nor on the Sabbath day.
Yep.
He doesn't say pray that you don't have a flight. You're
Yep.
gonna have a flight. Just pray that it's not in the winter or on the Sabbath day. The Father himself says, come out of her, my people, lest you partake of her sins and receive of her plagues. Babylon, Babylon, the great whore has fallen. Revelation 18, verse 4. 14, verse 2. Here is the endurance of the saints, those that have a testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach, of Jesus the Christ, and keep the commands. So you need a plan to GTFO. Will the Father provide? Sure, he'll provide, but he meets our obedience with blessing. He meets action on our behalf with his facilitation on his behalf. He told Abraham, go, go. And then when Abraham did, he was blessed. Same thing. He told Noah, build an ark. And then when Noah built an ark, he was blessed. He always meets us with our action with that blessing. So you need a plan beyond Jesus is going to take care of me, because Jesus himself said, you're going to flee. Just pray that it's not on the Sabbath or during winter. Tree stand for an OP. Yeah, it's a good idea. Just make sure that you're well camouflaged, because if you're up there and I see you, now where you going to go? Bear, I started 75 Hard the day after you mentioned it on your live stream 3 weeks ago. I'd never heard of it, but it's been a great experience so far. Europa Chronicles, that's awesome. I'm glad to know that. I'm down 50-some pounds, 50-ish pounds right now on 75 Hard. That's awesome. You know, so
It's funny. Someone did mention.
Hold on. I need to. Nels Mohawk, you're not understanding here. So your buddy said no to learning plumbing because he has someone else. Nels Mohawk, you've been here a long time. I don't think you're understanding fully what's going on here, but I'm also going to advise you not to make too much more hay out of this, because I'm just letting the banhammer fly tonight. The point that you're missing is that we can't all own all of the skills.
Right.
And there are more skills than you have hours in your life to learn them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's already an expert level proficiency in something that he only has beginner level proficiency at, because he's tied up with other things. It does not behoove him currently to try to ascend to the level of expert plumber, because that's already handled, and he's doing other things. Same thing with me. I'm not an expert level plumber. I'm probably moderate. I know a lot about plumbing, but I can't stand it. And if I had to do plumbing, I can do it. I've done it before. I've been paid to do it before. I just don't want to do it. I don't like doing it. I turn a $10 plumbing job into a $500 trip to Home Depot every time. Every time.
Well,
I just don't. Right? It's not the best use of my time or my ability.
And to the comment that I made way earlier, I know how to replace a toilet. I know how to replace a kitchen faucet. I know how to replace a bathroom faucet. Like, I know how to, deal with a washer dryer connection, but I don't need to know the intricacies of plumbing when it comes to oh crap, it's -19 and the pipes under the house busted. Right? Like, we have a master plumber for that. Like, I don't need that level of knowledge about plumbing. I definitely think everyone should get an understanding of a wide variety of skills. Well, not necessarily everyone. Some people are destined to be masters of one particular skill, right? But for me, I have a surface knowledge of a variety of skills, but I don't have to delve into a mastery of a skill that I don't have that proficiency in right now. Right now, that doesn't mean I don't need to learn. I do. I constantly learn. He knows this.
The other thing is the interest level.
Yeah.
You can only go so deep with any skill set before you lose interest if you're not passionate about it. Right?
Yep.
Like, there's just radios.
And it ties in with what I was about to jump in with, where someone said, you might be a master of hammocking. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely semi-pro at this point.
Of everybody I know who hammocks, you are the resident master of hammocking.
I mean, people do come up to me that have hammock camped before, not a couple times.
Yep.
And I'll start talking to them about hammocking. They're like, I never knew that.